Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of The Terri Cole Show. I am so happy that you are here, as I always am. I want to start with a question. Are you as curious as you used to be in life? Right? Think about your own level of curiosity. And is curiosity important to you in other people? That's what this entire episode is about, is how to curate more curiosity in yourself and in your life and in your relationships to create a more satisfying, delicious, juicy life. That is what we're talking about today. So before we get into it, if you happen to be new to this channel, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I'm a relationship expert. I'm the author of Boundary Boss, the Boundary Boss Workbook, and Too Much, a guide to breaking the cycle of high-functioning codependency, which you can get at hfcbook.com, and you can still get all of the bonuses. All right. Also, before we get started, I know that 67% of you who watch this YouTube channel of mine who are here, a lot of you on a weekly basis, which I love, and I roll out 2 things a week. So lots of you are here multiple times a week and are not subscribed. So I don't need to know the why. That's not the important thing. I just want the what, which is I want you to go subscribe because it helps me if you do. And my entire channel is dedicated to helping you because you are my people. So if you're here, just subscribe. Do me a favor. That's it. Really, if you want to support my work, subscribing is one of the best ways to do so. It's also free. And then you get updates when I roll out new things, which is every Tuesday and every Thursday. So that's why you want to hit the bell icon so that you get notified. Thank you so much for being here. Let's move it on into today's episode. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to become more of a sapiophile. All right, maybe that's not what we're talking about, but that's what I'm talking about. So it's funny. I was away with my friend, Dr. Alexandra Solomon, and it was a conference on erotic intelligence. And it was so interesting and so amazing. But I was talking to her about Vic and being married for, being together for 27 years. And that one of the things I'm most attracted to him for is his curious mind and how smart he is. It's like a super turn on for me. And it's funny, I always say online, like if there's other influencers or content creators who I follow, one of my highest compliments is, I love and appreciate your big, beautiful brain, which I just realized that right now in doing this, that I really am a sapiophile. So what is that? It is someone who is attracted to people who are curious and creative. Sapiosexuality is a term used to describe people who are sexually attracted to intelligence. So I think I'm both. I think I'm a sapiophile, and I think I'm sapiosexual as well. I wonder if you guys are too. I can't be the only one. So what happens to our curiosity as we age, as life goes on, right? When you think about it, sorry, I got to put lip stuff on. My lips are dry. When you think about it, we go through our 20s. When you're a teenager, everything is new, right? It's like you're really getting your independence. So everything is exciting and you're curious about lots of things because there's so much in life you haven't done yet. And then in your 20s, there's still a lot more newness that happens. Maybe it's your first long-term relationship. Maybe it's the first person that you ever lived with. Maybe you get your own apartment for the first time. Maybe you have your first real grown-up job. Maybe you move to another city. There's so many things that can happen that naturally stoke a curious mind and naturally keep us curious because you're doing new things. And so to do new things, you need that curiosity as sort of the fuel to want to do new things rather than to sort of stay in the old familiar. And then it gets easy to become habitual in our lives. Think about how you feel about, if you go to a gym to work out and you go to your favorite class, don't you have a spot that you stand in, that you like to stand in, that you really, if someone is new to the class and doesn't realize that they're in your spot, you're kind of like pissed. You're like, hello, bitch, get out of my spot. That is my spot. This is very human, right? It's very human to like the familiar. And so we have to work a little harder to stoke the curious part of our nature. And listen, it's nature and nurture because some people, like my husband, and me too, are just naturally curious. But there are things that we can do to become better with our curiosity, to really stoke it so that being curious is an integral part of the fabric of your life. Asking questions. And this is also part of what I talk about in the Too Much book, that when you're a high-functioning codependent, a lot of times you're a bit of a know-it-all. I'm not judging. I'm in recovery. I am one. Trust me. But we're less curious and we more want to tell people. That's what the auto-advice giving is all about, where we're like, I have a great idea for you. When you become more curious, when you really develop curiosity, you're actively seeking out, right, information, right, the world around you. You're approaching things with an open mind, with a desire to see things from a different perspective, right? You're making a conscious effort to learn new things by exploring, right? By meeting new people and being interested in them. It's like, tell me about you. And then letting that person tell. When we are really curious and when we flex this muscle of curiosity, you can go from being a wait to talker in a conversation where someone's talking and you're just sort of looking for that hole where you can jump in and tell your story. And listen, again, that's also, that's our nature. We're trying to relate to the other person, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is ask the questions first and then step back and create space for someone to answer, right? Also, we're stoking our curiosity, not just about other people, but about life itself, about situations themselves, about learning new things and new concepts. So it's learning to ask questions, really getting interested in how things are done. This is one of the things someone had asked me recently online because I stopped watching with all the political friction that is happening in this country. I can't even watch my nighttime comedians that I used to watch. I just don't, because it's just too much stuff that is dysregulating the crap out of my nervous system. So I don't watch that. And the person asked me, well, what do you watch? And I was like, okay, what do we watch? If Vic and I watch a show, right, like Shogun, we recently watched, I know we're a little late to the party, but we loved it. The 2024 version was just fantastic. Anything we watch together, which there's not a lot. There's not a lot of the twain meeting when it comes to he and I, when it comes to what we watch, because he always wants to do historical something. He loves a World War II drama, and I like a procedural, like a CSI type of a show where he's like, that's so fake, I can't take it. Anyway, oh my God, I digress. Long way around the barn to what we're watching. So we watch Shogun, and then we'll watch all of the making of Shogun, the behind the scenes. And we're both curious to know, how did this get made? What does it mean to the people in Japan that this show got made? How authentic was it? Like, there was so much. And so we both super get into those types of things. Also documentaries. I love documentaries because there's so many to choose from. You could literally only have a Netflix account, and you don't even need a million other accounts. And you could watch documentaries from now until the end of your life, probably. And there's so many good ones out there. So if we're talking about stoking curiosity, be mindful of what you're watching. And listen, I'll still watch NCIS Australia. I'm watching now, and it's just, I love it, even though it's a very not good show. But it's bad in a way that soothes my nervous system because I know that it's going to get figured out in the end of this show. So, sometimes you just watch the bad stuff because your nervous system can't handle the reality that you're living in. At least that's what's happening for me. So I'm going to, in the guide that comes along with this episode, I'm going to give you ideas of how to stoke your curiosity in all different areas, right? One is, what are you watching? Is it making you more curious? Is it satisfying curiosity? Is it something that you're learning something? Or is it something that is super violent and actually bad for your nervous system? I'm just asking for a friend. That's all. Just saying, right? So anyway, we're going to ask better questions. And we're going to dive deep into things. Like, doing a deep dive is also something that stokes your curiosity. When you go, I want to know about, and it could be the most random thing that I will fall into a Google or Bing, because I'm trying not to only use Google now. So a Bing hole of research of just anything I'm interested in. Just recently, we were listening to a book and there was a lot about suffrage in it. It was Sharon McMahon's book called This is Menopause, people. You just have no brain cells. Anyway, I'm going to link it in the show notes. It's wonderful. It's about 10 little known people in history who should absolutely be super famous for all the amazing things that they did. So a lot of it had to do with the suffrage movement in the 1800s. And then I fell into a hole of just researching all of the people that she was talking about in this book. So that's also a way that you can stoke your curiosity, is doing a deep dive on something that does interest you. And I'm also going to give you in the guide some questions you can ask yourself, because a lot of times people will say, well, I don't know what interests me. I'm like, no, you do. Your life is a roadmap of what interests you. So I will help you decode that roadmap. And part of it is just, what do you watch? What do you read? What do you do on your days off? What do you like to do in your spare time? Do you like to go to museums? Do you like to go to music festivals? All of those things are telling you what you are interested in and what you are curious about. Another thing that we want to be mindful of is actively listening. Because when you're curious, you got to be a good listener. So I call it active listening. I call it even athletic listening, where you're really into it. You're paying attention to what someone else is saying to you. And you're paying attention without being so judgmental. And we have to be mindful of it. I talk about this in the book Too Much, of the yum yucking of it all. Like how we're just can get so attached to our judgments and our opinions. And we think that that's a part of our identity, but it's really not. And it's the opposite of being curious. When we're endlessly yum yucking, right? Saying, oh, I like that. No, I don't like that. No, that doesn't go. I don't know. I don't know why somebody would wear that with that. That doesn't match. Or it's not my kind of house. They got a new house. It's not my style. Why? You didn't buy that house. Someone else did. But we feel so, and I listen, I fall into the trap too. So I'm not judging you guys, but we feel so attached. And I feel like it's a way to, we love the yum yuck of it all because there's a black and white aspect of that makes us feel secure in an incredibly uncertain world, right? What would David G., my soul brother and friend and mentor, what would he say? That the only thing that we can count on is that everything is going to change. Because that's the nature of being a human on planet Earth. And so I feel like there's a lot of ways that we have defense mechanisms against the truth of how uncertain everything is, and being really judgmental is one of those. So we really want to curb the yum yucking of it all. So yes, to active and athletic listening, and no to yum yucking all the things you hear. How's that? What if we could try to put ourselves in the other person's shoes? Why do they believe what they believe? Or why are they, they're telling you something? Learning to see something from a different point of view. There's a great exercise that I actually think I learned it at the Chopra Center, and it really gave me a different perspective. And it basically invited us to think about a conflict that we had with someone and think about it where we're positive that they are so wrong and such jerks and they're the idiots in this situation. And then you're going to approach it like a New York Times journalist. So they're going to interview you. You're going to say what happened. And then you have to imagine the other person being interviewed, and you have to imagine the entire incident from their point of view. And you were so sure that they were just being an a-hole. And you were so sure that they were just being selfish. I did this with a conflict that I had with my closest sister. And in looking at it from that point of view, this is many years ago in the Chopra Center that we did this, I was able to go, oh yeah, maybe it's not so cut and dry. I want it so badly to be so black and white that she's just an asshole and I'm just a victim. And when I looked at it from the point of view of the New York Times reporter, I was like, hey, maybe not. Maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. Another thing is to seek out lots of information. And I do this lots of different ways, right? So diverse topics, explore different formats and stuff that, engage with people from different backgrounds, different cultures. That's why I love to travel. And it's funny, when Vic and I travel, sometimes we'll travel in a way that's not that interesting, right? You're doing you're going up a riverboat cruise and you're going to 6 countries in 10 days. You know what I mean? Where you're really not learning about those countries because you're not interacting with any people. You're just with a bunch of other Americans. Anyway, whenever Vic and I have done that, we only did that thing once and probably wouldn't do it again. But it was like I was so busy. We were going to Europe. I just didn't have time to plan a trip, and he's not good at it. So I just hired someone to do it, and that's what we did. But the people that we befriended on any time that we'd been on a cruise, whether someone gifted us a cruise, because I wouldn't consider us really cruisy people, but a friend of Vic's gave us a cruise in 2004 when we were flat broke. So we went to Alaska because David Faraday, the golfer, I don't know if you know him. Anyway, Vic and he did a column together for many, many years in Golf Magazine. And he was a friend. And so I got this in the mail. And I said to Vic, I digress with this story, but it's actually kind of a good one, so I'll do it quick. I go, why is David sending us something? He said, I don't know, call him. I called him. I go, what's the deal? What is this? It looks like it's from Holland, America. He said, oh, Terry, I'm a raging alcoholic. I was like, yes, worst kept secret. Everyone knows it. He goes, well, I was at one of those godforsaken black tie affairs. This is me doing a terrible Irish accent, by the way, if you weren't sure. And he said, and apparently I bid on a silent auction, and I won a cruise to Alaska plus airfare. And I woke up this morning and I realized that I hate people and I hate boats. Would you and Victor use it? And I was like, yes, I would. Please. He has since gotten sober, by the way, but that was 2004. Point being, the most curious and interesting and satisfying exchanges that Vic and I had on any cruise we've ever been on is befriending the people who work on the ship. That's it. Their families. Why they're away at 11 months out of the year, because they're building a house in Thailand or wherever they live. And those are our friends. Those are the people. We didn't eat dinner with other people. We just made friends with the staff. That's what we did. Anyway, because we're curious about other cultures. I don't necessarily want to talk to the people from Dallas. You know what I'm saying? All right. Another thing is to challenge our assumptions. And wow, I'm the queen of assuming. And it's amazing how much things change, because I've been really challenging myself to challenge my assumptions, to stop assuming that we have this confirmation bias where we want to see things the way we already think they are, right? Confirmation bias. And it is so much more interesting to challenge that assumption. Maybe I'm wrong about that person. Maybe what I thought for sure I was right about is wrong. And maybe I can learn something new. Question your own beliefs about stuff, right? Be willing to consider that things might be different than you've always thought they are. What else can we do? Embrace the unknown, right? Do things that you don't know how to do, right? This is all an opportunity for learning when you go into the unknown. And I always say I have I want to call it anticipatory excitement, right? Back in the day, it used to be just terror. Like when I was doing something new, whether it was jumping out of a plane, which I did do one time, P.S., once was enough was that hashtag, would never do that again. But I'm not sad I did it, just wouldn't do it again. But anything like that, even just giving talks in front of a lot of people, that is scary. Right? That's especially when I started doing it, the unknown, when I first did a TED Talk in 2014, it was terrifying. Putting yourself in unfamiliar situations absolutely opens up opportunities for growth and learning. My friend who just passed away would do Wordle with people all over the world. I don't even know how to play games. I'm not a game girl, but I have another friend who's in an ongoing Monopoly game with strangers on the internet forever and ever. And it's something that is good for your brain to be thinking strategically the same way that they say doing crossword puzzles and all of those brain gym type things are good for your brain. Putting yourself in new situations stokes that curiosity. And another thing to really do and think about is to reflect, right? We have to have this ability for self-reflection in our lives. We need to be able to look and go, that's interesting. Get radically curious about yourself. Why do you respond the way that you do in situations? And if you would love to be in a community of like-minded, curious seekers, you guys, I have an amazing community. Do you know that? I do. Go to terricole.com/TCM for Terri Cole membership. It's extremely reasonable, and we meet every single week to solve all the problems of the world and all of your problems, and I think you guys would love it. terricole.com/TCM. You don't want to miss out. Don't you want to hang out with me in real time once a week? Well, you can, and I will answer your questions personally. I love the community so much. I think you guys would love it so much. Please check it out at terricole.com/TCM. In the meantime, I hope that this inspired you to curate more curiosity in your life, to have a more satisfying and juicy life, because I have no doubt that's what it will do. I hope that you have the most amazing week. And as always, take care of you.